Survivor Series WarGames is over and done with. It's in the books. The final main roster WWE pay-per-view of the year. And it was an okay show. The ending of the show was awful, and we will talk about that when we get to it for sure, because that infuriated me to the highest degree, and Triple H needs to really be removed, right? I think it's time for someone else to take the reins of WWE on the main roster. But Survivor Series is over and done with, and it doesn't really feel like the big five like it used to years and years ago. I think it's been completely watered down. Survivor Series to me has not felt special or must see in, I would say, a good 5 to 10 years, more so closer to 10 years, right? But it is what it is, man. Let's just go ahead and get into Survivor Series from November the 29th, 2025. 4 matches on the card. They had 45K in the building, and then WWE, in the middle of the show, they decided to ramp it up to 46K. So, there's that. I mean, why wouldn't you get that many people out when you had a star-studded WarGames match for the men? And you had John Cena there on the card. So, of course, why wouldn't you get a lot of people out for that? But let's get right into this. So, we kicked the show off with the first match of the night, which was the women's WarGames match. And that was Team Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee. They defeated Team Asuka, which was the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and Becky Lynch. The match itself was okay, but it's boring because they didn't do much of anything, right? Lash Legend just got there. Rhea has been in 5 or 6 of these things. Charlotte, I think, has been two or three of these things. I think Asuka's been in 4 or 5 of these things as well. She's up there with Rhea. And the women their match didn't reach a second gear, really. They didn't do much of anything. It's just a bunch of brawling and just spots as per usual. That's typical with all these WarGames matches, really. Rhea came out. She ended up using, kendo sticks and steel chairs and chains and all that. They used those, and all the women used those in this match and everything. So, basically, towards the end of the match, all the babyface women, they beat up on Becky Lynch, and then Becky ended up submitting to AJ Lee, who got her in the Widow. So she got her in the Widow. I forgot what she's calling that. And okay, it's the Black Widow. So she ended up locking in the Black Widow, and Becky Lynch taps out. Io ended up doing her typical trash can over the head spot. She did it in this match as per usual. It's like a WarGames tradition. If Io's in the match, that's what she's going to do. She's been doing that for the past, basically, 5 years. She's been involved in WarGames. So, this is no different. Match was okay, but again, this really should have been a traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match. And that's one thing about Survivor Series. This shit should have had at least 5 or 6 matches. The show wasn't no longer than 3 hours. It was 3 hours and 8 minutes. Not even 3 hours and 15 minutes. It was just 3 hours and 8 minutes. But this match could have, should have just been an elimination match, Survivor Series elimination match. That's what I would have done. Moving on from that, this leads us into John Cena versus Dirty Dominik Mysterio. John Cena got a hell of a standing ovation. People loved him. Got cheered galore. Dom got a reaction as per usual. So, Dirty Dominik Mysterio wins. He defeats John Cena. So, basically, the match started off slow. Dom ended up hitting the Three Amigos. He ended up doing the You Can't See Me in the match as well. Then, in the middle of the match, Dom ended up hitting a Hurricane Rana, kind of like how Penta did this past Monday on Raw. But Dom faked this injury, and I thought it was legit. But he ended up pump faking everybody, which was great. The ref was pissed off at this. It was hilarious. So, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, they come in. Raquel, she hit the Tejana bomb, and Roxanne hits the pop rocks on John Cena. So then Dom, he ends up hitting the 619 into the frog splash. Cena kicked out of that. Well, no, the ref refused to count, and then so Raquel and Roxanne, they get involved. The ref sends them back. Then Cena, he locks in the STFU on Dom. Dom doesn't tap. He gets to the ropes. Cena ends up knocking the ref down with a shoulder tackle by accident. Jenny McDonough and Finn Balor, their sorry asses show up. And they ended up beating up John Cena only for a brief moment. Cena ended up hitting a double AA, a double attitude adjustment on them, which is pretty cool. But, I mean, it's easy because they both weigh like 100 and like 90 pounds apiece. So, yeah. So then, Dom, he ends up grabbing the title from Cena. So, Cena hit an AA. So, the ref's still down. Liv Morgan shows up. She's been gone for about 4 or 5 months with her shoulder injury, so she's back. So that's fucking awesome there. So she ends up slapping Dom, but it was just all a ruse. So she ends up hugging John Cena. Then she gives him a weird, evil look. She hits a low blow on Cena. Dom hits the 619, and then Liv, she hits John Cena with the IC title. Dom hits the frog splash for the 1, 2, 3, and Dominik Mysterio is once again the Intercontinental Champion, which is great. This is great. I actually enjoyed this. This was fun here. Everybody should have known that John Cena was going to lose anyway. It was a no-brainer, really. If you think about it, I know people wanted him to probably go over it, but come on, man. You know, Dom winning makes perfect sense. Dom is a great heel. All of what happened in the match makes perfect sense because, you know, John Cena was going to have to lose with a ton of interference, which is fine. It makes perfect sense. This fits Dom's character to the T. And Liv being back is great. So, you know, that's good. So, good shit there. I fairly enjoyed the match. This was my favorite match on the show, for being honest. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into the third match on the show, which was Stephanie Vaquer defeating Nikki Bella. So this match was boring to me. It didn't go into a second gear at all, basically. Nikki didn't really do much of anything. She's totally washed beyond belief. Like it's a no-brainer and given at this point. So Stephanie Vaquer ended up hitting the SVB driver. Nikki kicked out of that. Then they fought on the outside briefly. She ended up doing the devil's kiss on the announce table, which was great. Then she ended up hitting the spiral tap for the 1, 2, 3. And that was it. So I do like that. So good stuff there. I forgot to mention she also did a second devil's kiss in the ring. So she did 2 devil's kisses, which is good. So Stephanie Vacker retaining makes the most sense. Obviously, we knew she wasn't going to lose. Maybe this is going to set up for Stephanie Vacker and Liv Morgan at the Royal Rumble. That's what I would do. I would build it up. There's no point trying to do Saturday night's main event, because that's way too quick. That's in 2 weeks. So, there's that. If we're being honest, there's that. But this, to me, felt like a Raw match. This is something that could have opened the show if this was a Raw or main event the show if they wanted to. So, there's that. Moving on for that, we get a New Day segment along with Grayson Waller. They don't do anything. They're just playing WWE Super Showdown. It's a card game. Who cares? Moving on from that, this leads us into the main event of the evening, the men's WarGames. So, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, Roman Reigns, they were defeated by Division, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. Match was okay, kind of boring because we've seen these 2 matches previous on AEW. So this is like, within a 2-week span, we've had 4 different WarGames matches, right? I know people are going to like the AEW version better because it's blood and guts, but who cares? That's just to pop the crowd, and that's just to get a good rating. I don't care about the WarGames concept at all, right? I get it. There was some color in this match earlier on. I can't remember how CM Punk busted himself open, but he bled for maybe like a minute, and then it was gone. So, it is what it is. I know people wanted, CM Punk to bleed like he did back when he was in his feud with Drew McIntyre last year, but nah, that shit ain't gonna happen. So why would you think that? But the match was okay. So the match picked up when Roman and Brock came in. So Roman came out. Brock, he locked he got out of the cage. Him and Roman, they fought and brawled. Roman hit 2 Superman punches, taking out Brock. He was gonna go for a third one. Brock scooped him up and hit an F5, and the table exploded, which was great. That was a cool ass spot. So then all the guys, they continued to brawl still, the baby faces and heels outside of Brock and Roman. So they kind of took naps. Then this leads us into the final segment. Well, my bad. The final stretch of the match. So Roman and them were taken out. So Roman, he goes for a spear because Brock had Jay in the F5. Roman ended up spearing both of them to the table that was set up in the ring. So all 3 guys were out there. So CM Punk ended up hitting a GTS onto Logan Paul. Then, Logan Paul's out. So he's about to hit Bron Breakker. A mystery guy shows up. He's wearing a hood and all that. So Punk is distraught and all that. He don't know who it is. And the guy ends up hitting a super kick to Punk and then hits a curb stomp. It's not Seth Rollins. So, and then the guy just dips out and leaves. Like, he literally, there's no reveal as to who the hell the guy was. I think it's Austin Theory. We'll talk about that when we get there, but I think it is Austin Theory. Maybe, I don't know. But Bron Breakker ended up hitting the spear for the 1, 2, 3. He got the win for the team. So that's fine there. So that's fine. Braun winning makes perfect sense. So I'm guessing they're going to do CM Punk, Bron Breakker, maybe at the Rumble. I think, Punk dropping it at Rumble is fine. He can still do something at WrestleMania 42. Don't know what that would be, but Braun needs to go into WrestleMania 42 as champion. So that's what they should do. So post-match, the heels, they celebrate and all that jazz, and then shows up, pyro goes off. So then we go back to the ring. So CM Punk, he's up. He shows respect to Roman. The two of them, they fist bump. So Roman looked at Cody, and Roman, he refuses to give Cody a fist bump, and then both Cody and Roman stared at each other, and then that was the end of the show. Okay, but why didn't we get the question of who was the mystery guy that attacked CM Punk? Who was that? Again, my guess it probably has to be like an Austin Theory maybe. I don't know. I don't really know who it could be. I'm just saying that out loud. I hope I'm wrong for that, but I hope I'm wrong in that regard. We should get a reveal as to who the guy was on Monday, so that should be fine there. To me, this does make sense, though. It's not Rollins. We don't know when Rollins will be back. I'm hoping Rollins can be back in like March of next year. So hopefully by March of next year, Rollins will be back. But whoever this was, hopefully we'll get the reveal. But the men's WarGames match was okay. Brock did Brock things, which was great. And everybody else just brawled. Brock, Roman, they were the stars of the show, basically. I mean, they were the stars of the match, right? Logan Paul didn't even show out like I thought he was going to show out. So, there's that. But, in all honesty, to me, WarGames, man, there should have been 5 matches. I don't know why we got 4. We did not need 2 WarGames matches on this show. This should have easily just been a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match for the women. You could have added another match. I don't know what you could have done, but you should have added another match. Maybe have Dragunov do another open challenge or whatever. I don't know, something. The men's WarGames match was pretty okay. Cena and Dom, that was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Stephanie Vacker and Nikki Bella, I could have done without that. That should have been really on like Raw. There's no point to even do that. The crowd itself was good. They only came alive for John Cena and Dom. That was it. They were alive, too, for the men's WarGames match. But, man, that ending of the men's WarGames match, it pissed off so many people. And it pissed me off, too, because, again, there was no fucking reveal. Why would you do that? Why would you have a not really a non-finish, but an anti-climactic finish? Why would you have that? Why would you have an anticlimactic finish? That's so damn stupid. And this is the problem with Triple H. He has no idea what he's doing at all. He has no idea what he's doing. And he's cooked. Triple H's brain is fried. He doesn't care. He does not care. He's no different than Tony. I personally feel it's time for the WarGames concept to end. It isn't needed. Right? The concept is not needed. It's supposed to be faction warfare. We should have gotten just one WarGames match on this show. And it should have been for the men. Survivor Series, to me, again, it's not felt special in years. I wish that Triple H would get his head out of his ass and quit trying to book the main roster like fucking NXT Black and Gold. Enough of these 4 and 5 match cards. Enough of that shit. We should have gotten at least 6 matches on this show. On this show, at least, right? For your big shows, you should be able to do at least 7 matches. If you don't want to do 7, that's fine. But you should do at least 6 to 7 matches on your big shows. For your WrestleManias, 7 matches. For SummerSlam, 7 matches. Royal Rumble, 7 matches. Right? I mean, come on. It's like we don't need these NXT takeover type match cards, really. You know, it's stupid. It's dumb. It really is dumb. I don't get it, man. The War Games concept, it has to end. If you are going to put together a faction, it needs to be a dominant faction, whether it's a faction full of men or a faction full of women, and you have that group of individuals go over that need to be defeated by the baby faces. That needs to happen if you're going to do War Games properly, right? Again, we didn't need to have 2 War Games matches, right? You don't need it at all. Again, War Games has always been focused on faction warfare. That's it. I'm talking about it could be either be two actual factions or just one faction, trying to take over whatever particular brand. And another thing I have, this crowd, they sucked, right? Why were they in a stadium? Why were they in an open stadium? It makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. It felt like it was like 2,000 or 3,000 people there. And you had 46K people there. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, bro. And I know people who were probably in the building probably were pissed beyond belief with the men's War Games finish. Like, that was an abomination, bro. That was an abomination. I don't get it. And then the fact that we don't have any pay-per-views in December, but TNA and AEW can come up with their own pay-per-views, but Triple H wants to be a clown and not have a pay-per-view in December and move the Rumble to February. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, stop trying to get rid of tradition. Stop it. You need to have a pay-per-view every single month. You should be able to come up and figure out match cards to do for an entire full calendar year, full month year. It makes 0 sense, bro. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. But I'm hoping now that people are my bad. I hope now people are beginning to realize that Triple H is a bad booker. I know people love him because of the black and gold stuff, but dude, that was years ago. Plus, at that time, it was easy to book for just a bunch of hardcore fans. That's all they were doing in NXT Black and Gold. That's all they were showing up to these shows were nothing but hardcore people, hardcore wrestling marks, hardcore smarks. That's who were showing up at these shows. The people who are going to WWE shows now are people who have money to burn. These are not just your typical casual, group of people. These people have money, especially in San Diego. Like, if you got money to burn in San Diego, shit. Because California and New York, those are 2 of the most expensive states to live in. It's just, wow. It's sad, man. It really is sad. But what did you guys think of War Games? What did you guys think of Survivor Series? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.